video, we're going to talk about iPads and how to manage the apps, and then we'll go into a few different native apps that the iPads have available to them. We're going to start today in settings. So I'm going to open up my settings. Just a few things that I want to point out in this area. First is Siri is turned off by default. So if you want to turn it on, you can go into your settings area and change that there. The next thing is there are some accessibility features that you might want to look for particular students. This includes changing the text size in the display, as well as some touch and control settings in this area. Finally, we're going to look at our home screen and dock. So the first thing I want you to see is at the top I have showing my app icons, either more icons or bigger icons. I like mine as bigger. It's going to show the app bigger for the student, but you can customize that per kid. Next, at the bottom, it says show suggested and recent apps in the dock. So I'm going to click that on, and then I'm going to exit out of my settings. And what you'll see at the bottom here on my dock, so that's where you see Classroom and Clever, Google Chrome, Clips, this is the dock area here. So if I have that turned on, it's going to show recent apps that I have opened so that I can open those again. I have that turned off currently, and that's so that my dock actually stays this way. So it will never change, the order won't change, no extra apps will be there. This is what my dock is going to look like. So speaking of apps and what the dock looks like, let's talk about some app management. So what we are able to do with our applications, as you can see here, I've customized my dock. I can click on an application, and I can actually drag it so that it's no longer on my dock. I'm able to customize the order of these applications, rearrange them a little bit, and I can add whatever apps I'd like to at the bottom of my dock. I can also create folders. So I've got a few apps on my home screen that my students aren't really going to be using. So maybe I click and drag them into a folder. So what you'll see is I'm just holding down on the app and I'm adding them to this folder, and maybe I name it Do Not Open. So that's what my folder is going to be named. So those are applications that the students will not be using on a regular basis. So there's a lot of different ways that we can easily manage our apps here and create some of those custom folders for students. So let's look at a few of the native apps that we have available to us on our iPads. The first one here is my Notes app. So I've already created a note. I'm gonna create a new note right now. And this is just a blank note. I can type within this note, but I can also, on the right-hand side here, right above my keyboard, I'm able to actually draw on this note. So I can add marker drawing, and I can change the color as well as the thickness of that pen. And I'm using my finger to just draw on the screen. I also have a highlighter, a pencil, an eraser. This little tool here with the with the lines on it actually grabs things. So it'll kind of snap to grab that, and then I'm able to move that object or those objects around. And then finally, I have a ruler. I'm also able to add pictures to this note. And when I add a picture to the note, let's go back to our old note. When I add a picture to the note, if I click on the picture to expand it, I get those same markup tools that I got when I was just writing in my note. So let's say we're going to draw a little fish on Johnny's feet there. My fish's tail is a little obscure, but there's our fish tail, and then we're going to click done. And so now we have his name and we have some drawings on there. It just makes it a little easier to annotate over a picture or over a photo for the student. So maybe they go out and they take pictures and then they label that picture within the Notes app. Our next application that we're going to look at is Measure. Using the Measure app, students are able to measure length and height and distance of everyday objects using the camera on their iPad. It's super simple to just point, add some points, and it will actually measure it for them. Next, let's take a look at a pretty popular app called Clips. So to get started in Clips, I'm going to click on Posters, and it's the third option at the bottom there. I'm going to make a little clip about camping. So I choose a background. I type in my title. And then I'm going to press and hold this reddish pink button down at the bottom, and it's going to give this title an animation. I'm also able to add my voice over that title if I'd like to. For right now, I'm going to mute my clip, and then I'm going to add additional things to this. So now I'd like to add something from my library. This is a picture of us by our Papa and Grandma's trailer. I can have students actually talk over their pictures, and they can also add live titles to their pictures if they'd like. They can change the way the picture looks. They can also add some text. Move it around, kind of rotate it. I can add stickers and emojis as well. So we're kind of building like this slideshow within Clips. So now we're going to go to our next picture. So here's our picture of Johnny. We're going to add live titles. Let's see how I'd like them to be added. Let's go with this red one here. So let's go with this red one here. We went down to the creek to put our feet in the water. It was a very hot day. We went down to the creek to put our feet in the water. It was a very hot day. So if Johnny wants his voice on that, he can keep his voice with captions down at the bottom, or he can click mute and it's still going to have those captions up at the bottom. All right, we are going to go to our last slide here. We're going to do another poster, and we'll do best day ever. And actually, we'll keep it as best day ever. So I'm going to turn off my titles, and I'm going to click record. And as you can see, the posters have really awesome animation. It just kind of makes it a fun little way to add a theme to your video. I'll mute that. And then the last step I'm going to do is at the top right hand corner, I'm going to add some music to this. Okay, let's preview our video. This is a picture of us by our Papa and Grandma's trailer. helpful to assign student iPads, and especially this year, now that all of your students are going to have their own iPad, you can even customize the background to have a picture of the student so that they can know that that's their iPad. This makes it much easier then to use Google Classroom because students will already be signed in to some of those apps. Finally, we know that QR codes are a really popular option among K-1 teachers, and we just wanted to give you a website that we recommend, barcodegenerator.org. This is a great place to create your own QR codes. We highly recommend not going to Teachers Pay Teachers to buy QR codes. Make them yourselves, print them off. It's very easy to use, super user-friendly, and then you can allow your students to be maybe a little bit more mobile around the classroom with those devices.